888-921-884. Yesterday about the police running not the radar, but the cameras, like the scanners.
License plate identifying things.
Run that story for me, because I have a couple of questions about this.
7,050 motorists have gotten a $200 ticket.
So
from the
7050.
Yeah, 7050.
Okay.
Have gotten a $200 ticket from the Bossier Sheriff's Office for driving without auto insurance. Sheriff Whittington says he installed the license plate readers in the parish back in April with the hopes of keeping uninsured drivers off the road.
What's the time frame on this? Just yesterday, or over the last week?
I imagine it's been over a few weeks.
I mean, look, when you wonder when Jim Donlin, state insurance commissioner, comes in here and we at him about insurance rates for all of Louisiana,
right?
And you wonder why your rates are so high and keep going up. Because they ticketed 7,050 people.
Yes.
Over a short span of time for not having insurance.
And there are a lot of these people who are griping, saying, but I wasn't driving the car. It wasn't me driving the car. The ticket should have gone to whoever was driving.
How much?
The problem is the law in Louisiana, let me make it real clear.
Yeah.
The law in Louisiana holds the owner of the car responsible for the insurance.
Here's my question.
End of story. I don't care who you let drive your car, who stole your car.
How much was the fine?
It's $200.
Okay, then what?
You got to pay the fine.
Then what? Are they still driving?
They can, yeah.
So what's the point?
You'll keep getting fined. You'll keep getting popped.
Let's impound the vehicle. Here's my plan.
I like that.
This is where I think it comes off the rails. Here's my plan. If you get popped for driving with no insurance, your vehicle is I don't know if it is or not.
No, they're not. These are tickets that are going out in the mail. You're getting a ticket in the mail.
They should go to your house and they should put the boot on your car. You are a danger. The reason your rates are so high is because people are driving without insurance. I would favor not only the impounding of their vehicles, but taking that $250 or $500 or whatever it happened to be, and you know what? That's your down payment on insurance. We will force you to buy a policy because you know what? Robert's policy for the year is what it is. Erin's is what it is, jacked up by about 30 or 40%.
Because of all these morons.
Because X number. Look, what difference does it make if they get a ticket for not having insurance and then drive away?
Because this is way cheaper than they would have paid for insurance.
They're still driving.
Yeah.
And Sheriff Steve Prater agrees with you. He is questioning Bossier's policies because basically he said, that he has an issue with law enforcement driving by a vehicle and not taking action against it. So
29 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Mudbugs, General Mudbugs Manager. That was nice. Mudbugs GM Scott Muscat just a bit later this hour. Right now, traffic and Reuben.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
KEEL News now.
The mother of 3 children is killed and a Shreveport police officer wounded. Matt Parker has details.
Jonathan Robinson has been arrested after he allegedly shot and killed a woman live on Facebook. Renita Williams was seen video streaming on the social media platform when a man appeared behind her and shot her dead. Robinson then allegedly barricaded himself inside the home on Natalie Street before eventually being arrested. During the violent encounter, a Shreveport police officer suffered a gunshot wound to the lower arm area. Robinson is being charged with second-degree murder, felon in possession of a firearm, and several other charges. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Our part of the state under a slight to enhanced risk of severe weather today. State climatologist Barry Kime says a strong cold front that will once again bring us chilly air for the weekend will bring fire-off storms throughout the weekend.
The strong winds, the tornadic activity, and hail all kind of go hand in hand, and that risk is definitely there.
We should see some tornado warnings later today. 7,050 motorists have gotten a $200 ticket from the Bossier Sheriff's Office for driving without insurance. Sheriff Whittington says he installed the license plate readers in the parish back in April with the hopes of keeping uninsured drivers off the road. Whittington says the money earned from fines will be used for maintenance and crime prevention. Bossier considering a lawsuit against several pharmaceutical companies to pay back money spent on dealing with the ongoing opioid crisis. Several other cities and parishes, including Bossier Parish, have filed suit against the drug companies. DeSoto Parish Schools getting close to naming Cade Brumley's replacement. The DeSoto School Board has announced 3 finalists for the open superintendent's job: Kathy Noel, who's serving as interim superintendent, Clay Corley, and Eddie Jones. Final decision expected by May 3rd. 2 local students have been named Louisiana Middle and High School Students of the Year by the Department of Education. Ashini Modi, an 8th grader at Caddo Middle Magnet, and Sunjay Lechman, a senior at Caddo Magnet High, earned the titles by showcasing their academic abilities and being leaders in their classrooms and communities. State Treasurer John Schroeder very critical of the governor in his handling of our state's budget crisis.
I like the guy. I don't like his policy. I think you need some very proactive people in government right now that turns this thing upside down, spins it around, and has it come out looking like something else.
Meantime, the fiscal cliff is smaller as the state's revenue estimating conference has lowered the budget shortfall from $994 million to $648 million. Legislation that would prohibit smoking inside bars and casinos statewide failed to get out of the House Health and Welfare Committee. If passed, it would virtually ban smoking in just about every public building in the state. Brent Rochon is a cardiologist who testified in favor.
With our lifestyle, especially in Louisiana, the boudin, the crackling, the etouffees, the rice and dressing, the gumbo, we do enough for ourselves. So let's keep the gumbo and let's lose the smoke.
But the gaming industry was there in opposition. The bill's author, Representative Dustin Miller, can still bring the bill back before the panel, and he does plan on making changes to try to get the legislation approved. Former Temple University employee Andrea Constant says Bill Cosby drugged and molested her at his suburban Philadelphia mansion in '04, but Cosby's lawyers accuse Constant of being a con artist who framed Cosby for money. A 15-year-old boy is challenging a policy that prevents high school boys from competing on girls' dance teams in South Dakota. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, did someone really text regarding my remarks on car insurance? Did somebody really text, well, how are they supposed to get to work? How are they supposed to drive? If their
Something
cars,
like that, yeah.
If their car's in, well, they shouldn't.
Right.
Well, how am I supposed to if I don't have insurance? If you can't afford insurance,
ride a bus.
I'm sorry. Look, 7,050 people have been ticketed by the Bossier Sheriff's Department over. Not sure of the time span. Here's the point: of those 7,050, how many of them got their tickets in the mail or were pulled over and were cited by officers on the scene, drove away, and within 48 hours had a fender bender? And you know who pays for that? You and me and everybody.
Yo, absolutely.
The licensed, the insured drivers of Louisiana.
But we got this on the Shreveport Security Systems text line. As a recently retired police officer, it is the driver of the car that gets the tickets. So sending the tickets to the owner will not stand up in court. And number two, in Louisiana, the defendant is allowed to question the accuser, and you cannot question a camera. So that will not hold up in court. Also in Louisiana, a vehicle caught operating without insurance, who can be impounded by the officer, his discretion. These are all tickets that went out in the mail.
So what is, and I'm just sort of theorizing here, at the officer's discretion. So let's say he pulls somebody over who doesn't have insurance. His discretion to not impound the vehicle. And they drive away and an hour later T-bone somebody.
Oh, boy.
That's what yeah. Oh, wait, an hour ago you were in custody and they let you go.
And that's where you see some cars that are like on the side of the road with that big orange sticker on them. They tell them you can't drive off. We're putting this sticker on it and you can't go off in this car.
Talk to a friend who lives out of state. Talk to a friend who lives outside Louisiana and compare insurance rates.
Well, I know somebody here in town who literally has a mailbox in Wascom and registered their car in Texas simply for the lower insurance. It was a young male driver who said, man, Louisiana insurance is crazy. I'm just going to register my car in Texas.
739. I'm not sure if that's legal or not, but you know what? Desperate men make desperate moves.
You bet.
21 away from 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, crafthockeyville.com. Tell you more about that if you don't know, coming up next.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Oldman Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
I'm not a robot. Damn it. 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The website is Hockeyville.com.
It's on our Facebook page.
Yeah, the link and
select
stuff.
all squares with vehicles.
As they are settling in, do you have the lads on camera? Mudbugs General Manager Scott Muscat and Assistant Coach Soupy Campbell are here. Gentlemen, as you know, about 2 to 3 fingers away from the mic. Other than that, there are very few rules.
Well, we do have the Jack Spring Electric Shockbuster button, just in case y'all.
There you go.
Fling a little.
CraftHockeyville.com. 100. If you're not voting now, you need to start. It is unlimited voting until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. You can vote as many times on that website for George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum. In fact, it says Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yes.
So you can just go right there and you can vote 1 billion times, and anything fewer is unacceptable.
Yeah, we really need your help. We really need
We're
your
this
help.
close.
Yeah, it's and here's the thing. Unfortunately, we'll never be able to get this close again, because once you're in the Final Four, you don't get to go back in.
Like one and done.
So we need your vote. This is the time.
God.
Time is now, and you are the person.
People who are saying, I can vote as much as I want, is this going to mean I'm going to get inundated with email? You can click the little button and say, don't send me all that stuff, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So that's easy
God,
enough.
if you're such a big wiener that you're not willing to get a couple of emails from Kraft
There are a
Foods
lot of people that
for
are like that.
$150 freaking $1,000
There's
for
a
Hirsch
lot of
Coliseum,
people like that.
then get over yourself.
Okay, and there's other people that say, and I hate to tell y'all this, I don't go to the Mudbugs. I'm not a hockey
But
fan.
it's bigger than that. It's more than that. Let me start you off.
Okay.
There are people all the time in Shreveport. We don't have, we don't do, we don't get, we can't afford.
Right.
And here is somebody, Kraft Foods.
Yeah.
CraftHockeyville.com, who are willing to hand us $150,000 with virtually no strings.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. There's no question about it. And the other thing that is, in my opinion, even bigger than that, which will generate, it's going to generate an easy $5 million for the city of Shreveport. So even if you're not a big Mudbugs fan, if you have any type of business tie in the city, if you want the city to be successful at all, this is a chance for us to bring 2 NHL teams in. When I talked to Nashville about possibly coming here, if we win this thing, would you come for an exhibition game? They were like, absolutely. And not only would we come, but an easy 2,000 of our fans would roll over. They would drive the 8.5 hours and come to Shreveport.
Can you imagine if Dallas and Nashville came?
Well,
that would rock.
That's what we're hoping for, right?
Oh, that would rock.
Look, and on top of that, a bunch of people associated with the city, talked Miss USA, the pageant, into coming here next month. Can you imagine what that much money infused into that building, how much that would help in future negotiations with anybody that big?
There's no question. The sky is the limit on what you do with the $150,000, and that's the number one question. What would you do with the $150,000? I can assure you, it will go into that building, and we've already spent $3 million in the building, and it went through in about 9 months. The $150,000, and I'm not saying that means it's trivial. It's not trivial at all. We have a heat system that needs fixing, and
By fixing, you mean like
existing. Yeah, so we need to put heat in the building, and
It's
that would go a long
invisible
way.
heat.
Yeah.
Who's the check going to be written to? City of Shreveport, Scott Muscat, Shreveport Mudbugs. Who's Kraft going to make the check out to?
Kraft is going to make the check out to Encompass Sports. So Encompass Sports will then we have to show them where we're going to spend the money, and then as soon as we show them that, then
Okay.
the money comes
So,
out.
so people that are saying the money's going to go to Shreveport and they're going to just squander it. No, that's not where it's going, right?
The Shreveport, and I don't mean any insult to this, Shreveport has not put any money into this. This entire project has been privately invested since day one. There is so the improvements wouldn't be any different.
Soupy, now the Mudbugs open the playoff season tonight. 7-11 game time at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum against Corpus Christi, game 1 of 5. But in addition to that, you guys explain to me what you guys are setting up at the game so fans can continue to vote the whole game long.
Well, actually, starting this morning, people can go up to the rink, go up to George's Pond, and we've got tablets set up. You can sit there and vote, and then the Mudbugs have their pregame skate starting at 10 o'clock, so people are able to watch the practice, and then we'll have the tablets set up all day, and we'll have people roaming around.
Tell them what you've been chewing me out about all morning long.
Which part?
Oh, pay attention to the show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to skip vehicle because it gives you the little box that says please verify you're not a robot.
Yeah.
You got to click on that, and then it says click on the signs of those pictures where there's a storefront.
Yeah.
Okay, storefront.
And then you have to find the little corner of the store sign and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But once it recognizes you, it skips all that. You can vote, and you can vote as many times as you are inclined. And in fact, what we'll be saying at the game tonight to folks at the game is get your phones out, pay attention to the game, keep freaking voting.
Yeah, that's right.
Let me ask you guys this: Do you have any history, any idea of how many votes it's going to take to win this? Have you got any historical data?
I do not. I assume
Lots.
it's going to take hundreds of thousands of votes.
Ooh, it's going to be that big.
Oh, I would say at least hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other communities, I mean, we're way superior, so we should easily dust them, right?
Well, really, when it comes down to it, a lot of those communities, I know they're looking for passionate communities, and the slam on us is, oh, they're from the South. What do they know about passion? Well, we know a lot about passion. Passionate is spending $3 million on a building you don't own. Mm-hmm. That's passionate. Passionate is coming out in droves night after night after night to cheer your team on, packing the building when I just admitted to you it's cold in there. That's passion. All of the things that the northern... So when we talked to the Predators about helping support this, Roman Yossi did a video for us. Mike Fisher did a video for us. PK Subban did a video for us. Peter Laviolette did a video for us, and the thing that they were saying is, we need to tie Nashville into this with you. And they were like, what about the South versus all y'all? And because every other town is a northern town. So I really do believe that in the end, this comes down to exactly what Kraft designed it to do.
It's the hockey civil war.
It's rally. It's rally. Rally behind your building. Rally behind something. Come together. Which is a perfect
said
time.
earlier this morning, if you are a Shreveport city official, if you're on the city council, if you're on the Caddo Commission, whatever, if nothing else, you should be voting a lot. Show up to work late, sit at home, keep the kids home from school, tap, 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 tap.
No, we're not advocating keeping the kids home from school.
I am advocating that right now.
No.
I'm
advocating the kids go to school and let the kids vote.
If I can stay up till like 11:30 or 11:35 at night so I can vote like 75 to 100 times before I go to bed. If I get up at 4:30 this morning to vote 100 more times, yes, you can keep the kids home from school.
I want all the teachers to tell the kids this morning, everybody pull out your phones. Right. We're going to have a lesson in voting. And let the kids vote while they're in school.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Hearkening back to what I just said a couple of minutes ago, for a city whose citizens, with some degree of legitimacy, dare I say, we don't have, we don't get, we don't support, we can't pay for, we can't afford, we don't have the money.
We suck.
This is a chance to get $150,000 for something, and the record shows that you guys are kicking ass there, and that this is something that is not just going to be wasted away. This is something that will go to a definite purpose for something in our community that people do love and do support, and will in fact take you to that next level.
And for every $150,000 you spend, there's another Miss USA, another Miss Teen USA, another rodeo, another circus, another event, another concert that wants to come here. So pretty soon
you build a resume.
You're building it. That's exactly right. And pretty soon it does start to become that thing that makes you say, hey, you know what? It's not so bad. We have this, and we have this, and we have this, and that's what we have to start.
How do you eat the elephant, right?
One bite at a time.
Scott Muscat, Soupy Campbell, Mudbugs hockey tonight, 7-11, playoff game number 1 against Corpus Christi. The website is Kraft crafthockeyville.com. This is Louisiana. Vote early, vote often.
Got some news about the police officer shot. We'll share that with you coming up next. And Congressman Mike Johnson joining us after 8.
Who's going to be the new Speaker of the House? Paul Ryan headed for the hills. Could it be Steve Scalise from Louisiana? He's got a little behind-the-curtain info. 752, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Fletchy.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Shreveport Mudbugs organization is one of 4 finalists in the country for a $150,000 grant for arena upgrades through Kraft's Hockeyville initiative. The winning group will be determined solely by a popular vote that is underway right now and will continue until 10 o'clock Saturday morning on the website crafthockeyville.com. You can vote as often as you want. In addition to the grant money, the winner will also be in line to host an NHL preseason game this fall. Of course, nasty weather is coming in, and it probably will affect 4 local area regional college baseball series that are set to start today, including Northwestern State welcoming Southeastern to Natchitoches. Grambling hosts UAPB in SWAC action. Louisiana Tech tries to keep their stranglehold on first place in Conference USA when they host Charlotte. And LSU will host Tennessee right here on 1130 The Tiger. In the big leagues tonight, the Houston Astros take on the reeling Texas Rangers at Minute Maid Park. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
It was an awesome interview. Chaos is embrace the chaos. 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin, 756. You got a text a little while ago from Shreveport City Councilwoman Stephanie Lynch about the Mudbugs and crafthockeyville.com.
Yep, she said, are y'all pushing the voting for George's Pond this morning? I've been up voting my butt off. Yes, absolutely. We've been pushing it. No doubt about it.
That's awesome.
I got another text from someone who has the Shreveport police officer has apparently been released from the hospital. This from another officer who says, quote, spoke to the officer yesterday evening. He's at home recovering. The injury will not affect him for the job. Bullet was not removed. Doctors at LSU want to leave it so it can work itself out. He has movement. The wound is not a career-ending injury.
Got to run, chillins. Don't say cotton picking. More on that on the way. 757, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Hannity.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
All right, so the Destroy Trump, alt-left, mainstream media hacks, well, they'd like to have you believe that the Stormy Daniels scandal, well, that's the most important issue facing this country. According to Newsbusters, from March the 7th through the 25th, CBS, ABC, NBC evening newscast, well, they aired 23 reports on Stormy Daniels and other scandalous allegations about President Trump. 40 minutes of airtime. New Quinnipiac poll shows Americans don't even care about Stormy. 73% respondents said the alleged affair was not an important issue. And most telling about the poll? Well, a whopping 41% said they believe journalists just make up negative stories about President Trump. So I think it's safe to say that the media in America, well, they have a major credibility problem.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
All right, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings for many reasons. Marlene from Ohio writes, Blinds.com is by far the most customer-friendly company. The blinds were simple to install, they look beautiful, and the quality is excellent. I highly recommend it. Just go to Blinds.com to find the perfect blind, shade, shutters, and drapes. And now through April the 22nd, you get a guaranteed 20% off when you go to Blinds.com/Hannity. That's Blinds.com/Hannity. Rules, restrictions apply. Hey, Sean Hannity here. You tired of taking huge vitamin tablets? Unlike most vitamins, which are packed with binders and fillers and non-active ingredients, Superior Source microlingual tablets feature only the most important active ingredients and are GMO-free. Now, most Superior Source microlingual tablets are smaller than a pea, and they dissolve instantly in your mouth. No water necessary. Superior Source microlingual instant dissolve tablets are available online or at Sprouts, Vitamin Shops, and other
Starting to see some heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Airline Drive right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. KEEL app, a free download. Miss Erin, local news up next.
A woman is killed in an apparent domestic violence situation. A police officer wounded. We'll have an update. Strong storms headed in our direction. And what's the fiscal cliff look like today?
CraftHockeyville.com. And your participation, your vote could make all the difference. Could George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum get $150,000 in renovation money? And it's not coming from anybody's government. Details on the way. Oh, and Congressman Mike Johnson, who could be the next speaker? That is at about 10 or 12 past. Fletcher, sports, traffic, and weather. It's all coming up this hour. I can hardly wait, and it's here on KEEL.
And 710 KEEL. Your KEEL cash code word is
SAVE, like SAVE, save. It's your shot at $5,000. KEEL cash is. For details and your chance to win, log on now, KEELnews.com.
the power of information. KEEL News now.
A local woman killed. Accurate from what you're hearing?
Yeah, I don't know, but the most dangerous time of an abusive relationship is while that person is trying to leave. Either the abuser has gotten word that she's trying to leave or after she's left. Over 85% of homicides that occur as a result of domestic violence actually happen after the victim has left.
Miss Petrina, Erin was talking in the last hour about does it
I like to tell people that when you get a protective order, that's not the guru of it all. A protective order is a layer of protection. So that's just one layer, and along with safety planning, and of course, when we definitely implement the penalties associated with violating a protective order, then those things are absolutely effective.
That's just one of the tools, right?
Right. A lot of times families will blame themselves. And I think that just the society that we live in, we do tend to blame victims. And we ask, well, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she do this? But we never say, why doesn't he just not abuse her? Why doesn't he just not abuse his spouse or someone who obviously loves this person?
Right.
A lot of times families will blame themselves. And I think that just the society that we live in, we do tend to blame victims. And we ask, well, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she do this? But we never say, why doesn't he just not abuse her?
Plus, for the open superintendent's job, Kathy Noel, who is serving as interim super, Clay Corley, and Eddie Jones. The board expected to announce their decision by May 3rd. Things could be changing for SNAP recipients. The proposed federal farm bill includes work requirements for able-bodied 18 to 59-year-olds who get the help. Congressman Ralph Abraham says the requirement will filter out people who choose to take advantage of the system.
I'm sure there are some that don't want to work, but again, If they want to be recipients of this SNAP program, then they're going to have to get in the game and do what we ask them to do.
The Democratic National Committee is against the bill. 2 local students have been named Louisiana Middle and High School Students of the Year by the Department of Education. Ashini Modi, an 8th grader at Caddo Middle Magnet, and Sunjay Lechman, a senior at Caddo Magnet High, earned the titles by showcasing their academic abilities and being leaders in their classrooms and communities. In his new book, former FBI Director James Comey compares President Trump to a mobster-like figure who tries to extract loyalty from others at the expense of the country. Today is the day to vote in the Kraft Hockeyville contest. George's Pond at Hearst Coliseum is in the running for a $150,000 prize and the chance to host a preseason NHL game. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Ten past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Don't forget about the KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Office Furniture Source. Here's Ruben.
Just received reports of a minor accident on Kings Highway near Cresswell Avenue, and we're still keeping an eye on that heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Good morning. It's 12 past 8 o'clock. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty at 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Don't forget about the Shreveport Security Systems text line, 318-392-1884. Joining us for a little bit, a special visit this morning. Congressman Mike Johnson is here. Hey, Mr. Mike, how are you today?
Hey, guys. Good to hear your voices. We're doing well.
A little upheaval about to occur In the House of Representatives, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan says, "I'm out of here. See ya. Gotta go." What do you think about all that? What do you think the reasons are that Ryan is bailing out right now? And honestly, do you think it's Trump related?
To be honest, I think that's part of it. Paul Ryan acceded to the Speaker's chair reluctantly, as everybody may remember. He really didn't want the job. He was drafted as kind of a consensus candidate to take the spot at a volatile time a couple of years back. And, he told everybody then that it was not his life's goal. His dream job was serving as chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. He's kind of a tax policy wonk guy, and that's the job he always wanted. And when he got it, he wasn't able to keep the gavel long because they asked him to become the speaker. So, he served in a look. Let's be frank about it. It's a volatile time. Politics are polarized. Washington and the swamp is, thick and difficult, and it's tricky waters to navigate in the speaker's chair. It takes a lot out of a man. I watched it take a lot out of Paul. He's a good guy. He really is. I'm happy for him. He'll have more time with the family. He said that was his reason, and I believe it's true because I know who he is.
We're hearing Steve Scalise has kind of backed off, and he's going to let Kevin McCarthy, the majority leader, take the job. Is that what you're hearing too?
Well, look, here's the inside baseball. I mean, y'all know Steve and I go back a quarter century. I mean, I've known him since our days at LSU. He was a few years ahead of me. He's a great guy and been a trusted friend and brother to me over all those years. And everyone else in the conference feels the same about him. Across the Republican conference in the House, Steve is one of those guys that's just universally respected. He's just the real deal. And I believe that he would have the vote of the vast majority of the conference if he were to run for speaker. But he's a gentleman, and one of the reasons everybody loves him so much is because he's a man of his word. And he and Kevin McCarthy, who's currently the number 2 guy, our majority leader, have also been close friends for a long time. They go back to the college Republican days. Kevin's from California, Steve from Louisiana. They met at a college Republicans convention, and they've been fast friends ever since. So I don't think Steve would take on his close friend like that and challenge him as a rival for the speakership if Kevin McCarthy can garner the support of everyone. And that's what's going on right now. That's the inside baseball. They are quietly and formally polling all the Republicans in the House to find out who would have that confidence in that vote. And
is he conservative enough for you, Mike?
That was going to be my question. As gentlemanly as he may be, Paul Ryan, to a lot of people, was not considered conservative enough. Bluntly speaking, to a lot of members of the House of Representatives, is Kevin McCarthy conservative enough?
I know Kevin very well. I do believe he's a conservative at heart. He's from California, so it may be defined a little differently than the way we do. But look, for the core principles of conservatism in the Republican Party, limited government, individual liberty, pro-life, you go down to the Second Amendment rights. You go down the list. I mean, he's there. What we're going to try to challenge him. I mean, the true conservatives in the House, whomever the next speaker is, and clearly Steve is a true conservative at heart. We're going to try to help steer that agenda. I mean, from the bottom up, not the top down. And we had a meeting last night, more inside baseball. I maybe shouldn't be saying this on the air, but I don't know. I just always feel like I tell you guys everything. But we had a dinner night before last, conservatives in the House. We're going to try to craft a statement of principles to hold whomever the new leader is, to hold them to that.
Attaboy.
If
Mike.
Scalise, if Representative Scalise, if Congressman Scalise chooses in the end, as it appears now he's going to do, to not pursue the speakership, could there be another more conservative than McCarthy guy? And do you think if that's the case, does McCarthy have or not have the votes?
No one knows the answer to that right now. McCarthy is in some serious negotiation with House conservatives, Freedom Caucus Chairman Mark Meadows and others. He'll have to make some concessions, I think, to get their vow of support. The latest buzz is that there might be some other conservative challenger. I don't know. There's just a lot of conjecture right now. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to probably either McCarthy or Scalise. And look, if Steve is not the next speaker, he will almost certainly he'll ascend to the number 2 spot as a majority leader. And let's pray we hold a majority in the fall.
If he chooses, pardon me, Mike, if Congressman Scalise chooses not to pursue the speakership, is it your sense that he would back McCarthy from California? And if that's the case, would his endorsement get a lot of conservative-leaning congressmen to go with McCarthy?
I think it would help, yeah. And I think that's exactly what Steve would do. If he doesn't run, I think he'll throw his weight behind Kevin, and that probably gets Kevin over the McCarthy over the line. But, the thing is, at the end of the day, from a Louisiana perspective, look, all of this is great news for us. I mean, whether Steve Scalise becomes a speaker or the majority leader, they're both obviously very powerful positions, and it's be the first time in a long many years that Louisiana has had that kind of clout in the House. If he's the speaker, he'll be the first in the history of our state, and that's just a remarkable, a historic moment for us, and a great time to be a Louisianian.
I'm seeing some talk about possibly moving Paul Ryan out now before the election. How much of that are you hearing?
Look, I'm in that camp. With due respect, because Paul's a friend, and I talked to him, yesterday before I left the House chamber, and gave him a hug and told him I was proud of him. We all are. He's given a lot to the country, and he ought to be commended for that. At the same time, we really need stability going into the fall election. This is a critical time. We've got a 23-seat majority right now that some would say is in jeopardy because of swing districts around the country. So I think there's something to be said for having that decision made now as opposed to January. Let's get it done before the November election and show that we know who's at the helm. We're all united and we're moving forward with confidence. I think that could be an important thing for us.
Mike, one last thing, a whole different subject. You probably know what's happened here locally. A woman killed in a domestic violence case, a police officer shot. I know you want to send your prayers out to the families, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my word, the first responders, police officers, law enforcement, I mean, they do the tough job every day, and we can never forget that. I mean, they put their lives on the line every single day for us, and they certainly deserve our prayers. Our hearts go out to them. We've got to protect those that protect us, and sometimes it's a helpless feeling at a time like this, but sometimes that's all you can do, but it's a really important thing, and we certainly do lift them up in our prayers.
Thank you, Mike. Congressman Mike Johnson, appreciate your time.
Thank you all so much.
20 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update coming up right now. Here's Ruben.
Just received reports of a minor accident on Kings Highway near Cresswell Avenue, and we're still keeping an eye on that heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twenty-two past 8 o'clock, time for Keel Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Shreveport Mudbugs organization is one of 4 finalists in the country for a $150,000 grant for arena upgrades through Kraft's Hockeyville initiative. The winning group will be determined solely by a popular vote that is underway right now and will continue until 10 o'clock Saturday morning on the website crafthockeyville.com. You can vote as often as you want. In addition to the grant money, the winner will also be in line to host an NHL preseason game this fall. Of course, nasty weather is coming in, and it probably will affect 4 local area regional college baseball series that are set to start today, including Northwestern State welcoming Southeastern to Natchitoches. Grambling hosts UAPB in SWAC action. Louisiana Tech tries to keep their stranglehold on first place in Conference USA when they host Charlotte. And LSU will host Tennessee right here on 1130 The Tiger. In the big leagues tonight, the Houston Astros take on the reeling Texas Rangers at Minute Maid Park. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
All I get all morning is, Bob, for God's sake, pay attention to the show.
Well, no one's paying it. You're voting, she's voting. Nobody's paying attention to anything that's happening on the show.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin, 26 past 8 o'clock. The website is Kraft with a K, Kraft like foods, crafthockeyville.com. George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum, the home of the Shreveport Mudbugs, the home of this year's Miss USA pageant, is one of the 4 finalists in the Kraft Hockeyville contest for $150,000 in arena and facility upgrades.
Vote early, vote often.
You can vote as many times as you want. If you're on your phone or your laptop, Twitter, it's once a day.
Yes.
But if you've got a phone or a laptop, and let me tell you, it's making Matt nutty because I'm not paying it. The voting started last night at 11. Which was like midnight Eastern when the actual contest, when the actual voting began. So I stayed up until about 11:30, voting about 100 or 150 times. I got up earlier this morning at about 4:30, and I voted till about 10 till 5 to 5 to 5, voting more. And I'm just sitting here doing the same thing this morning. That's the whole point. crafthockeyville.com.
Yes.
crafthockeyville.com. $150,000 for upgrades for Hirsch Coliseum. Don't miss out.
We have to tell you, too, we have some more information with regard to the Shreveport police officer who was shot yesterday during the response to the domestic violence killing in the Caddo Heights neighborhood. One woman died. She's been identified as Renita Williams, a 27-year-old mother of 3. A police officer was shot in the wrist or in the arm area, and I just got this message from a close friend of the officer who said, and I'm quoting, spoke to the officer yesterday evening. He's at home recovering. The injury will not affect him for the job. The bullet was not removed by the doctors at LSU. They want to leave it in so they can see if it'll work itself out. He does have movement. The wound is not a career-ending injury.
Here's the deal. We talked about this in some. If you don't know the details of the story, give us a couple of minutes. We will cover that in detail during the 40 segment or so, because it's going to take the full segment. Because this is, not only do you know a lot of details, but because you were a victims advocate for the YWCA for 5 or 6 or 7 years, you have seen, and I don't mean to be flippant, you've seen this movie. This is something with which you are at least the basis of this, if you will, the psychology of it, the reactions, is something that you're very familiar with.
You bet. And for it to have played out live on Facebook like this one did, that's new to me.
Hold the thought.
And tragic.
And when we talked to Miss Patrina, what was her last name? I apologize.
Jenkins.
From Project Hope.
Project Celebration.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And so she talked about how that, meaning social media, is sort of a two-edged sword in letting your friends know about your situation, but at the same time, the potential of angering or setting off or lighting the fuse
of your abuser,
under your quote-unquote ex, the abuser. And we'll talk about that more in about 10 minutes. 29 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update right now. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
Starting to see some heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Airline Drive right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The mother of 3 children is killed and a Shreveport police officer wounded. Matt Parker has details.
Jonathan Robinson has been arrested after he allegedly shot and killed a woman live on Facebook. Renita Williams was seen video streaming on the social media platform when a man appeared behind her and shot her dead. Robinson then allegedly barricaded himself inside the home on Natalie Street before eventually being arrested. During the violent encounter, a Shreveport police officer suffered a gunshot wound to the lower arm area. Robinson is being charged with second-degree murder, felon in possession of a firearm, and several other charges. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Our part of the state under a slight to enhanced risk of severe weather today. State climatologist Barry Kime says a strong cold front that will once again bring us chilly air for the weekend will bring fire-off storms throughout the weekend.
The strong winds, the tornadic activity, and hail all kind of go hand in hand, and that risk is definitely there.
We could see some tornado warnings later today. 7,050 motorists have gotten a $200 ticket from the Bossier Sheriff's Office for driving without insurance. Sheriff Whittington says he installed the license plate readers in the parish back in April with the hopes of keeping uninsured drivers off the road. Whittington says the money earned from fines will be used for maintenance and crime prevention. Bossier considering a lawsuit against several pharmaceutical companies to pay back money spent on dealing with the ongoing opioid crisis. Several other cities and parishes, including Bossier Parish, have filed suit against the drug companies. DeSoto Parish Schools getting close to naming Cade Brumley's replacement. The DeSoto School Board has announced 3 finalists for the open superintendent's job: Kathy Noel, who's serving as interim superintendent, Clay Corley, and Eddie Jones. Final decision expected by May 3rd. 2 local students have been named Louisiana Middle and High School Students of the Year by the Department of Education. Ashini Modi, an 8th grader at Caddo Middle Magnet, and Sunjay Lechman, a senior at Caddo Magnet High, earned the titles by showcasing their academic abilities and being leaders in their classrooms and communities. State Treasurer John Schroeder very critical of the governor in his handling of our state's budget crisis.
I like the guy. I don't like his policy. I think you need some very proactive people in government right now that turns this thing upside down, spins it around, and has it come out looking like something else.
Meantime, the fiscal cliff is smaller as the state's revenue estimating conference has lowered the budget shortfall from $994 million to $648 million. Legislation that would prohibit smoking inside bars and casinos statewide failed to get out of the House Health and Welfare Committee. If passed, it would virtually ban smoking in just about every public building in the state. Brent Rochon is a cardiologist who testified in favor.
With our lifestyle, especially in Louisiana, the boudin, the crackling, the etouffees, the rice and dressing, the gumbo, we do enough for ourselves. So let's keep the gumbo and let's lose the smoke.
But the gaming industry was there in opposition. The bill's author, Representative Dustin Miller, can still bring the bill back before the panel, and he does plan on making changes to try to get the legislation approved. Former Temple University employee Andrea Constant says Bill Cosby drugged and molested her at his suburban Philadelphia mansion in '04, but Cosby's lawyers accuse Constant of being a con artist who framed Cosby for money. A 15-year-old boy is challenging a policy that prevents high school boys from competing on girls' dance teams in South Dakota. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Have you ever wondered what
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. I mention that because obviously at least there's a lot of people listening this morning who think that if you get popped for driving without insurance, that you should be allowed to continue driving. I can only assume that's because the people who are texting saying that's just not fair to impound cars, not that they do. I said I think they should. But evidently there is there are a lot of people listening this morning who have texted us via the Shreveport Security Systems text line who think that people driving without insurance is perfectly acceptable. Well, they should get fined maybe, but well, here's the story. It was 7,000. Well, you have the story in front of you with Julian Whittington and Bossier Parish and that sort of scan license plates deal.
Yes.
Where were they doing that? How did they do that?
Different places, primarily on the freeways, on the interstates. But they've made 7,050 motorists have gotten a $200 ticket for driving without auto insurance. Sheriff says he installed the license plate readers back in April with hopes of keeping uninsured drivers off the road.
But they let them drive away. I mean, they mailed them the ticket, I guess.
Yeah, wasn't no traffic stop.
Okay, but
you're misinterpreting it.
No, I'm thinking maybe we should go to their house and say,
you don't have the manpower to go to 7,000 houses. I'm just going to tell you.
That's my point.
They don't.
That's my point. The number of people in Louisiana, the reason that your and my and Matt's and everybody's insurance costs, when Jim Donlan, insurance commissioner, comes in, and you always say, Jim, what can you do about insurance rates? You know what? 7,050 people were ticketed in a very short span of time in Bossier Parish by the Bossier Parish Sheriff, and they're still driving.
Yes.
They're still driving around.
And some of them are even claiming, yes, I own the car, but it wasn't me driving, so I can't be held responsible for somebody using my car.
Hit the button if you need to. No, too late. Get insurance. We should impound cars. Then we should take whatever fine it is and apply it toward buying them insurance.
I'm with you. But you got a problem with this. There's going to be people who say, you can't hold me accountable because my nephew stole the car.
I don't. Well,
he knows he shouldn't have been driving
it. If your nephew stole the car, I understand. Then send your nephew to jail. But we got others that said, well, what if you can't afford insurance? Then don't drive.
Don't drive.
I'm sorry about that. Well, how could you be against national health care and be for mandated insurance?
Do I feed my kids or do I buy car insurance?
You know what? There's things called buses and Lyft and Uber and Friends. The point being, you're out there driving without insurance, and if you hit somebody, if you have whether it's a T-bone or whether it's just a little fender bender,
you bet,
I'm the guy paying for it. And it is not the federal government who's mandating you do this. And you know what? The state's not really mandating it because in the end, if you can't afford it, if you just are too lazy to get it, you don't have to drive. 839, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Starting to see some heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Airline Drive right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.842, it's 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, the KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. So yesterday, police standoff in Caddo Heights. It was a domestic abuse situation that ended up in murder. Not only did it end up in murder, it was, well, you tell them, because it ended up on Facebook, I guess. Give me details.
Yes. It was Caddo Heights on Natalie Street, started before the lunch hour, where there were shots fired in a home. The suspect, 36-year-old Jonathan Robinson, apparently had gone to the home of his ex-girlfriend, 27-year-old Ronita Nunu Williams, and forced her to go live on Facebook, where he wanted her to apologize. He said he was going to make her famous. While she's broadcasting live on Facebook, he shoots her dead.
Now good Lord, she had previously put up a couple of posts about basically, I'm free of this guy.
I got him out of my life.
He's out of my life. I am safe. Everything is, I'm on the right track.
Yeah, me and my 3 kids are going to move on. And that's
well, this
not
guy
what
had a history of not only domestic violence, but other, like about 100 yards long.
Armed robbery, lots of stuff. And he's just not a good guy. He's a bad guy. And, you know, I struggle with that. I struggle with why he wasn't behind bars based on his history. But, you know, needless to say, he apparently barricaded himself inside the home after shooting her and fired shots at the police who responded. There were some 40 officers on the scene.
Now, one officer was hit.
One officer was wounded. They have not released the officer's name yet, but I did get a message from a friend who said the officer is at home recovering and the injury will not affect him for the job. Now, the doctors did not remove the bullet. They want to leave it in to see if it'll work itself out, which is a good thing. He does have movement. The wound will not be a career-ending injury. So that's a good sign.
So last hour, and I want you to touch on this just a little bit because a lot of folks still don't know that you were for, was it 5 or 7 years? 5 years?
5, yeah.
For 5 years, you were a victim's advocate with the YWCA in their domestic abuse, for lack of a better term, division. What did you do there? What did you do with domestic abuse victims?
It's many years ago, but I was the victim advocate. I would often help them get protective orders, which is an order some might call it a restraining order. This is a little bit different in that it's regarding the children that are in the home and violent situations.
Does that work at all?
Some do, but again, you have to tell victims it's a piece of paper. It's a tool that you use that can give you more help with the police if he were to come on your property, if he does stalk you, if he does keep calling you. Police, it gives them more authority to go arrest him. And that does work. The laws have changed to help victims in that regard. But again, you tell victims always it's a piece of paper. It's just another tool. You still have to be careful. And the most dangerous time is when you leave.
Now, we in the 7 o'clock hour, last hour, we had Patrina Jenkins on.
Right, and I don't know.
What does she do? What do they do?
It is a domestic violence shelter. They also offer counseling and other services for domestic violence.
Them at this point.
8 of these such agencies. We just don't have the funding. But it's just such a widespread problem. And, you know, when we talk about crime in our community, you'll hear the police chief. He'll have a news conference later today, but you'll hear him say, many of these are domestic-related cases. Many of them are. They're just like this. If it's not, you know, within a family, brothers fighting or brother and father, it's intimate partners.
We got a question on the Shreveport Security Systems, a comment actually, on the Shreveport Security Systems text line. And I had asked Ms. Patrina, I said, bluntly put, should this woman have had a gun? And the woman who the person who texted us said, there's Robert politicizing it. Was that a question out? Was it out of line?
No. I think that question, and the reason I think your question was good is because of Patrina's answer. Because a woman in this situation has been living under this fear. She's been controlled. He tells her what to wear, who she can see, who she can talk to on the phone. Many of these folks would be the same folks who would take the gun from her. They would be the one who would have a way to get it from her.
What I infer is, and based on what you're saying and what Ms. Patrina said last hour, is that woman in so many cases is so intimidated and afraid of this singular person that they probably wouldn't have the stomach to pull the trigger.
They wouldn't be able to do it, or he would get the gun from them. She said, often if a victim has a gun, the gun is used against her. In these cases, the gun is then turned against her.
Isn't that making my point?
You bet.
I mean, look, if you had a gun, if you, Erin McCarty, and a stranger comes to your door and tries to...
It's going to be hard for me to shoot somebody. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd struggle with shooting somebody.
But what you and Petrino were saying, then what I get from that is, in this instance, in a domestic situation like this, given the history, that if it's hard enough for somebody to do it in the midst of a violent crime in which their lives and maybe their children's lives are threatened, that in this domestic violence sort of situation, that person would, because of the history, I guess, be even more reticent to fight back?
Oh, absolutely. If you fight back, the abuse becomes worse. So you just take it, you try to, cover up the best you can, and you take the beating and move on and try to, it's just sad. I'm just going to tell you, if you know somebody in a situation like this, urge them to speak up, give them options, give them outs. You can come stay at my house for a week or 2 weeks or whatever you need. Help them find an answer.
Second-degree murder. That seems, considering, I would think first would be in store because premeditation seems obvious. Or is this something that is just like stage one, if you will?
The DA could up the charges to first degree, but I'm going to tell you, in a case where, he goes to the house, maybe he's trying to talk her back into his life and things escalated, it's going to be a second-degree murder case.
When you put somebody on Facebook, when you tell them you're going to make them a Facebook star,
that's the other part of this, yeah.
849, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic and weather updates coming up right now. Your money now is just ahead, by the way. Here's Ruben.
Just received reports of a minor accident on Kings Highway near Cresswell Avenue, and we're still keeping an eye on that heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. 687-ROAD.
KEELAccuweather.com forecast: cloudy and heavy rain expected today. Maybe hail, maybe a possibility of a tornado.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
A state senator in the state of Missouri has said it's finally time to pay reparations for slavery after all these years.
Yeah, she said there's no difference between white Democrats and Republicans, that neither of them give a heck about the black community, only the votes. And you know what? she may be right. In fact, the black community votes for Democrat nearly 90% of the time. But it was Republicans who enacted the civil rights laws in the 1950s and the 1960s over the objection of the Democrats.
Regardless of which party you support, reparations aren't going to solve anything. It's a bad idea that needs to end.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Abalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
My mic is on.
Stop!
Stop it.
No one has a clue what I'm saying.
Thank God.
But we do.
Do you?
And yes.
It
In
makes
fact,
me very uncomfortable.
You're basically, if I might use an analogy, you're driving without radio insurance.
Am I?
And you should be impounded. 855 1017 FM 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin. The website is crafthockeyville.com. And the voting for George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum for that facility to win $150,000 in renovation money. I let me pat myself on the back. I think I verbalized it better than anybody. For a town that says we don't have, we don't get, we can't do, we ain't got the money. This is a chance to get $150,000 from an outside entity, i.e. Kraft Foods, Kraft Hockey.
Free money, folks.
To renovate for the renovation of Hirsch Coliseum. And today is the day. Voting is today, and you can vote as often as you want. You have been chastising me all morning long.
Because somebody has been paying attention to squat as far as this show goes. Oh,
been
we're
voting.
back? Oh,
I've been voting all morning. The voting started at midnight Eastern time zone last night. 11 our time. I stayed up till 11:30 voting.
Now, if I want to go to the game tonight, will I be able to vote while I'm at the game?
You can vote. Look.
You can use your cell phone. They have little stations set up. There's going to be a little party afterwards. Plus, you get to see a great hockey game because, first round of the playoffs.
Mudbugs game 1. Playoff round 1 against Corpus Christi tonight, 7-11 at the soon-to-be renovated George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum. But the city needs your help. Vote a ton at Kraft, with a K, crafthockeyville.com. Back Monday morning, 6 till 9, Robert and Erin. Here's Kim Commando on KEEL.
Word is out that Apple's HomePod is in real trouble. But here's why you might want to buy one anyway. Kim Commando with your Friday Consumer Tech Update. HomePod is Apple's much-publicized competition to Amazon's bestseller, the Echo. Since the introduction only 9 weeks ago, HomePod sales have been dismal. A New York Post writer even called the HomePod a flop. One thing about Apple, never underestimate Apple products. Both the Apple Watch and even the iPhone were labeled as flops within their first year of sales. HomePod's strength is its speaker system. Its sound is superb and puts the Amazon Echo to shame. But the HomePod costs more than the Echo. So if you're buying it to listen to music, it's definitely worth the money. But another HomePod weakness is Siri. If you're buying HomePod as a digital assistant, the Alexa is simply better. So why buy the HomePod? Apple's Siri will catch up with Alexa, but the Echo's poor sound system is just that, at least for these models. I'm Kim Commando. I've got some big dinner plans for my family coming this week, and it doesn't involve restaurants or takeout or even grocery shopping. Here on the Kim Commando Show each week, I tell you all about simple recipes, gourmet touches and flavors, delivered right to your door with garden-fresh, pre-measured ingredients. Just go to HelloFresh.com, choose from a variety of recipes across veggie, classic, and family plans. Then your meals arrive with easy-to-follow full-color instructions. With HelloFresh, you'll whip up dinner in just 30 minutes or less. And there are lots of one-pot recipes for speedy cooking and minimal cleanup after a busy day. After 2 or 3 weeks of HelloFresh, you'll love your new dinner routine. I know I do, because of how simple and fun it is to cook and enjoy delicious home-cooked meals. For a limited time, get $30 off your first box at HelloFresh.com/Kim, plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Kim for $30 off your first order. HelloFresh.com/Kim.
Just received reports of a minor accident on Kings Highway near Cresswell Avenue, and we're still keeping an eye on that heavy backed up traffic on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up to Airline Drive right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, rather cloudy and windy today and tonight. A spotty shower this morning and early afternoon. Strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon and tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.